Hey, hello, welcome to Klep's Garage. I'm your host, Bruce, and on the prior episode, episode 91, we showed you how we brought home a 1930 Lincoln four-door sedan, or what's left of it. Let's take a quick look at that, and we'll start the show. We make a Lincoln Speedster. Yeah, only not red. Red's not my favorite color. But anyhow, it looks something similar to this. All right, well, there you go. Now, you've seen how we acquired this thing and got it home and stripped it down. Now, let's start cleaning it up and see if we can start making something out of this. On today's episode, we're going to clean it, try to degrease some of it, and then we're probably going to take the drums off all four wheels, look at the brakes, see what I got to do to get them to work, and then probably, I won't show you the sandblast, I'm going to sandblast the inside of the drums, paint them, I'm going to re-grease all the bearings, put it back together so we can roll it, or maybe we'll do something besides roll it. You'll see. We're going to get it from outside to where it's at now, inside, and then we can start doing some real work to this thing. So follow along. Let's see how today goes. Got all the tires dismounted from the rims, and now I'm going to do what's known as a rim check, where I put each rim on the front wheel here and spin it and see if it's, out around, or if it's bouncing out this way, bent, or if it's jumping up and down this way. So we're going to do that real quick before we waste any more time blasting and painting and getting new tires for this thing. So first we'll do the up and down test. And then next we'll do the side-to-side test. See if you'll be able to see this or not. Maybe. Maybe not. So this one's out just a little bit, not enough to bother with. The rest of them are a little bit better than this one. I think this was the worst of the four. I can live with that. That's not that bad. It's not like we're going to be running 100 miles an hour. Well, I got all the brake drums off. I thought I'd show you. This is before I start cleaning anything. And actually, this doesn't really look all that hateful at all. It just needs some lubrication. I got all the brakes working. Here's the inside of the drum. That's just a little bit of rust, but really, this is the one that was stuck too. So just that little band there is what was causing it to be stuck. If you go over here and look at the other side, this other side, I mean, for this car from sitting so long, look at that drum. I mean, it's hardly even rusty. So this is going to clean up pretty nice. Here's the other side. This was even cleaner than the side that was stuck. So these are your service brakes, and then these are your e-brakes. And they, of course, they work independent with two different levers. And I got all these hooked up, working. And so, if we put our hand here on the brakes, move the brakes, they all work. Isn't that nice? We got this mess here straightened up. And let's see, here's the front ones. The front ones I'm going to have to work on I think the springs are not Not quite sure, they're not going back like they should, but that's right. These are full of spider webs, but again, the drums, up here in the light so you can see it. Man, it's still got shiny metal on them. It's unbelievable. This car's been sitting for 30 some years, and the stuff still looks like it's usable. I'm gonna blast this off with a little steam, and we'll see what it looks like after I clean it up here a little bit. Time for some degreaser. Okay, I got the first layer of crud knocked off of here. This is the front right. Zoom in here a little bit. So I figured out why the brakes aren't returning. The brake spring is supposed to go over to there. And ironically, both sides are broke. So I'll get some different springs and put on there. The back ones were okay. And the main spring down there is okay. But yeah, got that. And let's see here. Here's the back one, so the spring's okay on the back one. And it's still got the original gray paint on it. That's amazing. It's almost 100 years old. Well, it looks like you could just get in it and drive it. Got more cleaning to do, but like I said, this is the first layer of crud I got cleaned off. So there's the other side. Once again, the springs are good. The back wheels look really good. I'm going to sandblast the drums and clean the rust out of them and put them back there. Same thing up here. Main spring's broke. Supposed to go over there, and I'll get that fixed, and these will work like they're supposed to work, and this shoe will return to top dead center. We'll put a little grease on all these things that are supposed to be greased. Might have to go around here and free them up a little bit. All right, so I'm done steaming off the frame for now. Got second layer of crud off. Pulled out the priming cups. Can you see me? priming cups, and this is a direct hole right to the top of the piston. So I'm going to use a little ATF, automatic transmission fluid, and we're going to put that down in these cylinders. Let that soak, because I'm sure the motor's stuck a little bit. And we'll let this sit for a while. I'm probably going to take the heads off, and looks like it's all going down the side of the block. This funnel don't really fit all that good. That's all right, a little rust prevention here. A little rust prevention, yeah. I wonder if the hole's even opened up down there. I can actually get a little pokey thing and stick down in there. Yeah, I get a wire. Okay, found a pokey thing. Piece of wire would have worked. Yeah, so it kind of feels like this one here is full of dirt. I don't know what the deal is with this one. We'll give it a little extra juice here, a little cherry juice for it. Cherry flavored Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid. Going down a lot better now. Probably a big old mouse nest in there. I'm probably going to take these heads off and go through it, but I thought I'd get a head start here with this. Nothing else, if I get it turned over, I can hydrolock it faster. Hydrolocking is when you get fluid in there and you come up on compression, fluid doesn't compress and it locks the engine up. Seeing how the motor doesn't turn over, I don't see this being a problem. And now I'll go over to the other side. I got this side full of cherry Kool-Aid. Cleaned and blasted the front brake drums on the Lincoln. This is the inside, nice and clean in there. Blasted that, painted this. The outside I'm going to leave just lightly blasted. I'm going to leave this rusty. We're not going to bother painting these. We're going to leave them like that. They look better than that did. So we'll bring those up to this level. And decided I'm just going to leave the frame, the rusty look, probably put some oil on it. Keep it looking the old original patina. Now let's go over here to the bearings. I've got the bearings all out of them. Getting ready to put some grease on them. So here's the front wheel bearings. These things are just amazing. This is the inner bearing. This is the outer bearing. I mean, they're just, I mean, look at these things. They're huge. They're big. Big. That's like truck bearings. So there's the bearings. This is the inner seal. This is the locking mechanisms to hold the outer bearing on. This is the actual screw-on dust cover hubcap. So I got some new grease here. I'm going to hand pack these. Some blue high temp grease. Yeah, I know they're not disc brakes, but this stuff will last a long time. So I'm going to work on that. Get these hubs back together, put the drums back on the car, and then work on getting some wheels. I was procuring some stuff for that over the weekend, so we'll see how that goes. Gets done there. So I've showed this in one of my other videos. Maybe I'll put the video number down there, but gonna grease the bearings, and the way I do it's by hand. A friend of mine, Dale, back in the day showed me this trick. It works quite well. I think I do it the other hand. Well, anyhow, you put some grease there, you take said bearing, take the big end, which is this end. This is a small end, tapers down. And we just put a little grease in there, and voila, you get the bearing pack. So you just put this in there like that. See how that's going in there? It works its way up, and before you know it, you'll get that all packed up in there. La 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 la. Isn't this exciting? This is like watching paint dry. Anyhow, I won't bore you with the full details, but there, I can see the grease is starting to come out right there. So you pack this all up there, it shoots it up through there, comes out there, voila, the bearing is greased. So I'm going to do all these, put in the hubs, get the hubs back on the car. I won't bore you with the messy details. It's all in the details. So cut this bearing in. I gotta put the seal in here. I like to put some grease down in the hub and just to keep it rusting in there. So you can't have enough grease in this thing. So there, I got this done. We'll get these on, get the outer bearings on, and these will be back together. It ought to be good for another 20 years. They'll outlast me, I'm sure. Went to my local Model A swap meet the other weekend, and would you believe, sitting out there at one of the vendors, they had 3 of the Lincoln wire wheels and 4 hubcaps to fit my Lincoln. I didn't have any hubcaps. I got 3 wire wheels and these 4 hubcaps for a mere $70. So thus far, I have $70 in this here process of this car build. And I don't know, maybe a couple $20 on incidentals, but so far I'm under $100 on this build. It'll probably go over that. So this is how we're going to try to move this thing. He can move it. Do all this today. Since it's on that angle, I'll let it down. I'll line these up over here first. Okay. I should be able to set it on them. Okay. Big thanks to Aaron and his backhoe. Hey, so I found this to be interesting. I was cleaning this up and there was a bunch of grease here and I cleaned it off, and there was an ignition switch here, a keyed switch for the on and off, and then the steering lock. So I thought, well, let's clean this off, see what's there. And sure enough, there was a key in there. It was broke off right at the top. I was able to get said key out of the lock. And well, since then I've brazed a penny on there, and if you notice, Lincoln's shot in the head. There's a hole in his head. Anyhow, I took this to my local locksmith, and I said, "Can you make me a key?" And he found a key, and he was able to cut it off just that much of the key, and got this one in here, and it turns, it works, goes in and out sometimes. Anyhow, so you got off and on, and then if you can see this, I'll put my finger here. When you turn this, it slides in, locks the steering column. So this is a multi-function switch. And then also there's an electric switch here that you would put your ignition on. Would you believe that actually worked with this switch? After 40 years of sitting outside, this stuff all still worked. I oiled it up, cleaned it. That was after I checked it, but it all still works, so I can hook this up. And I thought that was totally amazing that it could sit out that long. I'd like to see today's cars sit out with the ignition switch open. Well, they don't have ignition switches. Well, that button would probably corrode. They wouldn't work, I'm sure. Anyhow. Game 8-ball, anybody? Get it? V8, 8-ball. Just to show you that the switch does work, so there's the ignition switch. It's hooked up to this lever here, and I have it hooked up to my multimeter, so when I turn this on, you'll hear a buzzing noise or a beep. How about that? Can you believe that? Still works after 40 years of sitting outside. Amazing. And then just here's a close-up of that, the lock mechanism that goes in and locks the steering with the key. And then off and on. They even got a, you can see it or not, there's even a thing there that says off and on. If I remember right. Yeah. And then it says locked. I think that's what that says. Yeah, something like that. Anyhow, good old American ingenuity. Built to last. Well, there you have it. That's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to stick around because there's going to be plenty more episodes on trying to get this jalopy on the road. I'm sure it'll be more interesting than maybe today's. But anyhow, we'll throw in some other videos in between working on this because unlike the TV shows, I can't do everything in a week. It's just me. I do have a day job, and this is supposed to be a hobby. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Remember, as always, drive them if you got them. We'll see you next time. And the original key was still in the lock, but it was broke off. So after digging it out, I was able to take it to my local locksmith. What's a locksmith? Let's try this again. I can't pop that is good. Anyhow, dug the key out and took it to my local locksmith. What is a locksmith? Me and Jenny go together like peas and carrots. Jenny liked the sailors. Jenny always liked the sailors. Okay, that's a poor Forrest Gump imitation. So I went down to my local locksmith, Mr. Douglas. Mr. Douglas, have I got a deal for you? Quiet, Mr. Haney. Bunch of grease here. This is actually the ignition switch, keyed ignition switch, on off here, and it's also a steering lock. Now the key won't go back in. How do you like that? It went in.